Alex Terrace here. I got this question on my Facebook page today, and if you don't know what that is, you can follow it. I put a link below in the description area. Anyways, it was on a protocol of modalities, products that can help somebody who is bedridden. So in this video, it's going to be a biostacking sort of sequence of products and equipment that I would recommend based on all my research in health technologies and things like that the last 15 years. It is by no means like a perfectly dialed in protocol for a specific person with a specific cause or reason health-wise behind being bedridden. If you want something a little more customized, you can just directly reach out to me for a specific case. But nonetheless, the modalities that I'll put here and show here in this video are some of the better things around for addressing some of the major metabolic consequences of being laid up in bed, laying down, unable to move for long periods of time. And we do have plenty of research, by the way, out there by now about what exactly happens when people are laid up and they're unable to move, and it is crazy. And for example, in the frontiers or the leading edge now in the alternative health space is really starting to recognize mitochondria inside the cells as being an important, essential, primary driver for health and also disease processes, health and wellness and disease processes. And that is one thing that takes a major toll gets severely impaired, is laying up for a long period of time. And there are some studies on that. But the aging onto your body on that level can be upwards of what looks like decades in literally just a short few weeks. Now, that's not to say that maybe you can't bounce back from that, but nonetheless, I'm just pointing out there is a lot of research on that. So my protocol is kind of based around just a lot of that medical research on just being in bed for too long. And let's get into it. So on the website right here, Recovery Edge Therapy, and by the way, all this equipment I do have access to, so if anybody needs payment plans or discounts or anything like that, or wants to roll it all together for somebody specific, just reach out directly to me. Recovery Edge. So I have reviewed all the various compression type equipment that is out there. Essentially, one of the most important first things to address is lack of optimal circulation in the body and lymphatic system stagnation. So these systems have been around a long time. I've looked at all the different brands. This one is extremely reasonable, very well made, and made in the United States. So it's probably the best value system that you'll actually find out there. And so when you get something like this, you do want to make sure that you're going to get the one for the torso, both of arms, and the legs. So you basically want to try to do as much of the body as possible. See these chambers here? Essentially, we're talking about the legs for a second, it inhales a chamber at the feet, squeezing the fluid in lymph and blood vessels upwards in a sequential action. And then it kind of repeats it over and over, and there's some settings you can change. It's very easy to do. And it runs for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And this would be something that you might want to do ideally twice a day for the whole body, but at least once a day for an individual that is bedbound or bedridden. So again, fantastic price point for the quality. And let's move on to the next protocol. So maybe some of you have heard of light therapy. Photobiomodulation is the other term. There's, I believe now, over 5,000 clinical research studies. So this stuff is real, and we know exactly how it works. So I've worked with many different laser companies, light bed companies, LED companies. There's all kinds of things, handhelds, things for the head, you name it. I've reviewed them all. And this currently is the best value brand or system on the market for the actual intensity of these medical grade diodes. So these are the most intense mats on the market currently. Okay. So as you can see, there's kind of like, you can use them for shoulders and elbows and knees and thighs and heads and hands, and you get the idea, right? Well, for somebody that's going to be laid up in bed, you really want to get as much of the body saturated with red wavelength and near infrared wavelengths. Okay, so there's a couple different near infrareds on this wavelengths, a couple different red wavelengths. Again, for the actual absorption you get, since it's directly on your body, and the intensity behind it, these are actually the best value devices on the market. These are superior to the panels that people sit in front of or stand in front of, because when you transmit LED wavelength at a distance, you lose a lot of the power, and it's actually a completely unknown gray area as far as how much energy you're actually absorbing into the tissues. So the panels I don't really recommend, even though technically I sell them. I sell many things. The pads are really the way to go. So no, you don't have to, make somebody look like this in this photo, although it technically would be most ideal if you could get at least multiple devices on a person. However, if you're just going to choose one for the person, this one goes from your waist all the way up to the back of your neck for somebody of a standard torso. And most people biomechanically are measured pretty similarly, about the same height from waist to neck. So there are protocols for this, but I'd probably do level intensity 4 or 5, maybe 15 to 20 minutes on the backside, and then put on the top of the person. Now in the photo they do have clothes on, but ideally, where LEDs or where light therapy is shown, you definitely do not want any clothes in the way of the LEDs. So there's too much to explain as far as the benefits of red wavelength and near infrared, but it addresses things on a very cellular level and affects your entire body systemically. So it's directly going to counter almost all of the side effects of being bedbound. So this is a really fantastic thing to do, and again, I would do it every single day if you can in that sort of situation. All right, moving on, and I'm going to have all the links to all these products below, okay, in the description or below of the video. So this is the #1 most well-known, really kind of original hydrogen water company. And now drinking hydrogen water is excellent for anybody who's bedbound. Hydrogen has 1,300 at least impressive studies, and again, it will directly, indirectly help you with every single metabolic consequence, side effect of being bedbound. So if you go into the search bar and you type in inhalation, okay, anyways, I pulled it up. So we'll click on this here. Now my link below actually has a 10% off coupon. Now the drinking options are lower cost machines, and if you're on a real tight budget, you can get the Echo Go cup, which is like $200 on the website. So the drinking consumption is less costly, although ideally, in addition, if somebody's really bedbound for a while, there's just so much to counter and to improve upon in terms of staying healthy. So inhalation of hydrogen at a high flow rate is really ideal or optimal for getting into your bloodstream in mass amounts for people that have any kind of major disease or something that's affecting them, like some kind of major health thing going on, where again they're bedbound. So I would inhale something like this minimum 1 hour a day, ideally 2 hours a day, unless they're bedbound with a major disease, and then I would go longer. So if you have any questions on that, but you can go upwards to 8 to 15 hours a day. It really depends on what's affecting the person. And you can also get away with, again, depends, 20 minutes broken up to a few times a day. It kind of just depends on the condition, once again, how you're going to do the protocol. But cumulatively, I get in at least a couple hours every single day. And they're simply going to just inhale this through a nose cannula. It's like a little tube that goes in your nose. And yeah, you just inhale and do whatever you want. Now you can stack this, of course, while they're inhaling with the other modalities simultaneously. and efficiently get a lot of benefits in. So you don't really have to necessarily separate all these modalities and do them at different times. Just a little sidebar comment. All right, so this is obviously in a different language here, and you can just, when you click on the link, you just simply translate the page to English. But essentially, this is a CO2 bodysuit. You see this? It actually inflates in that little area with CO2, carbon dioxide, basically. In the USD price, USD is around $2,400. Let me see if I can get, I don't know where my English translation button went, but normally it just pops up. Anyways, so you can read about all the benefits once you get on the website. It's actually a really good website. And there's just a huge amount of benefits to absorbing CO2 through your skin, the gas through your skin transdermally. And there's even more benefits than this. So looks like some of this is in English here. So it's a very educational website. You can really get into the biochemistry of it. And again, people are familiar with oxidative therapies like hyperbaric, ozone, EWAT, things like that, right? Well, those are all great, and CO2 is just as crucial. Okay, so the reason CO2 is helpful is because of oxygen and the other gases. The reason oxygen is actually doing and working and doing its thing is because of CO2 and vice versa. Really, they both belong together. So pursuing modalities, therapeutic delivery of gases separately is actually very beneficial. So when somebody is really bedbound and not moving, obviously one of the major primary side effects of that is going to be severe lack of circulation, as well as then the oxygenation, delivery of energy, or the energy processes, cell respiration to all the different tissues, all the different organ types, all the cells in the body. The CO2 suit is extremely powerful and very effective. People feel it working within minutes in terms of the movement of vasodilation, parasympathetic effect. There's a lot. And because of kind of what this does to the body metabolically, it stacks perfectly and makes the other modalities work better. So it's kind of something that you might want to do before other modalities or even before taking supplements. Now, the other thing that I would say, modality-wise, that I would recommend doing before the other modalities, and is this PEMF specific, this brand, Cell Vital, which has the most studies on it, had the biggest research team behind it. It's the only one that has multiple patents. Some of the most famous people were involved, Dr. Robert Becker and Dr. Linus Pauling and more. Anyways, this one is the most unique one on the market. Literally everything's locked up in patents, and this one addresses the 4 main functions of a cell to keep itself healthy. And that would basically why it's a medical breakthrough. And so they affect some of the core functions like ion transport, for example, with cells. And so this stacks beautifully with any other modality. It's very fast, it's very easy, and when you're laying on this, the signal goes through everything. So you can have it underneath the mattress. It improves every aspect of sleep. That's a lot to explain. And it also can travel through that CO2 vest and or the compression system. In other words, it's going to travel and treat and affect the entire body systemically all at once while you're doing other modalities. So it's super convenient. It's something that, again, I would put ahead of any other modalities because of how it primes the body on a cell signaling level, a circulatory level, and much more. And it makes the body receptive and ready to really, with energy resources as well, to kind of take advantage of other modalities. But again, stacks beautifully with many different things. This is something literally that is used in many, many, many hospitals for decades now, okay, in Europe. And it is considered a Class 2 medical device in Europe. It doesn't have like an FDA medical device classification in the United States, but it is overseas. So I would definitely stack this as well. And let me see if I can log this in real quick while we're waiting for that. Cardio Miracle is maybe one of the most comprehensive nitric oxide supplements. So you can read about that. It's a gas, signaling gas in your body that's involved with carbon dioxide and oxygen, and has many other important functions as well. Signaling, so it affects countless processes in the body. And most people have this decline significantly, their nitric oxide levels, especially around the age of 40 and higher. And if you're laying around bedridden, your nitric oxide levels will be like barely anything. And that's going to create an unfathomable amount of cellular metabolic problems just because of the severe decline in this really important molecule. So that if you are low in your nitric oxide production while you're laying around, literally all the other modalities, and well, not all the other modalities, but modalities in general, and products and nutrients, supplements, I mean, they'll have limited effects. So that said, that CO2 vest I talked about, and the PEMF, and the near-infrared and red light, what is unusual is that those modalities also happen to have an effect on nitric oxide production in studies and research. Not many things do, by the way, but that is just a nice common thread between these modalities that I'm recommending, and all of them utilized together can make a significant improvement in nitric oxide levels. In fact, somebody bedridden, if they do this stack, they're going to probably end up having more optimal nitric oxide levels than people that are in their same age or younger that are active, just like walking around not bedridden. It's quite surprising how much these levels decline, with age. And really the key is doing multiple things, trying to address the deficiency through just kind of multiple angles. And obviously, in the case of the bedridden case, we can't quite do exercise. So we have to find modalities that essentially mimic the metabolic effects of what exercise does, if that makes sense. And it's not just about exercise, obviously, but that is partly what is guiding this protocol. So exercise and also just movement, just regular normal movement. So I'm trying to think what was on this page here. All right, I remembered now. So this is the CERAGEM massage, spinal decompression / massage system. This is not the only option, by the way, and this is their higher priced model. They do have other models as well that are lower cost. So if this bedridden person is able to get some help in getting out of bed and laying on this for 30 minutes would be good, maybe 40 minutes. This thing is absolutely incredible. This is more therapeutic than getting a massage chair because of how gravity works. So when you're laying horizontally, the way that the different rolling system works behind your back. Let me see if I can get a picture of that. Anyways, it's a really good website, and my link is below, of course. I'm not really going to find a good thing here. Here we go. There you go. You see those little rollers? And these move in a wide variety of ways and produce a little bit of thermal infrared heat as well, which is great. And this actually is just capable of doing a lot more than when you're seated vertically in a massage chair. So something like this is just fantastic for somebody that is bedridden, obviously. And this one is currently the best vertical of its kind, horizontal type of massager. There is the other more original brand that is out there, but this one is superior. There surprisingly has not been other competitors to market with something like this, which is shocking to me because these couple brands that are out there, they do extremely well. They're very popular at business, like commercial locations. When a health practice might have them, they pretty much just get booked out solid. everybody's obsessed with using them because you just honestly feel so good after. And it's the way that it moves and how often it's moving in your back. Like most massage therapists couldn't even keep up with that, the volume or just how much it works your back and your body. So a lot of people do actually have a better effect or a better outcome, at least with their back, than seeing a massage therapist. Okay, now obviously, again, it's not going to do anything for like your arms, and it's not really going to do much for your legs, but you do have those compression things here. Now, one of the massagers, by the way, one of the models has compression boots for the legs that it comes with. But if you want to kind of like save a bunch of money, then you can go over here, just get the boot system, and it's basically ends up being a lower price. And then you can just use that while you're getting your massage. Now, obviously, you could get creative, right? When you're laying on something like this, you could put that PEMF mat and you could lay it on top of you because it's actually very lightweight. You could inhale hydrogen at the same time, or you could take the light therapy pad and you could put that on top of you. You could lay that on top of you while you're actually using this. So again, you can be creative in your use of time while you're doing this, and then do some of the remaining modalities while you go back to bed. So that's pretty much it for now. There are a couple of supplements I recommend for reducing wasting of muscles and tissues, and those are below. They are the two most studied, validated ones in the market, and they specifically do use them in hospitals and with elderly, sarcopenia, and other muscle wasting diseases and conditions, and they work shockingly well. So if you could use, it's HMB, and the other one is Perfect Amino, which was originally known as Master Amino Acid Pattern. So it's a white label under Perfect Amino under the company Body Health. So those two taken in combination can prevent significantly, and for some people almost completely, muscle wasting away, and tissue degeneration in some areas, and even can mimic some of the muscle preserving effects and even muscle building effects of exercise to a certain extent. So they really are actually quite miraculous if you stick with that supplementation. And I'm going to put those two additional supplements below so you can kind of see where to get those. And I would also add that those supplements do work a lot better metabolically. They get to where they need to be when you're stacking it with some of these other modalities. Anyways, that's it for now. Let me know if you have any questions. If you have any specific case that's bedridden, then you can always reach out to me and provide me more details.